Batman's arc peaks when he realizes there are connections he values. Immediately after his emotional moment with Alfred, the truth comes out. In a traditional narrative, this would be the Dark Night of the Soul into the third act. The Batman pushes this boundary. You'll see what I mean. With the truth exposed, Selina runs off to challenge Falcone, and Batman needs to help her. He values their connection and doesn't want to lose her, or for her to lose herself. He's transforming from someone who shut everyone out into someone who lets others in, who inspires them, as he does with Gordon.
You're a good cop.
And Selina.
Owns the city.
Cross that line. You'll become just like him.
Ultimately, Falcone is caught. He's the rat brought into the light, and he dies. His last moments hearkening to the theme, as his perspective is shown. The last thing he sees is Batman. I take this as a shift in Gotham. Out with the old and in with the new. Gotham was Falcone's, now it's Batman's. But the story's not over. The Riddler must be caught. His plan must be stopped. In order to do this, Batman must face himself. He must face the man he inspired, and the changes in his character are demonstrated immediately. Batman's criminal perspective is tested when he and the police search the Riddler's apartment. He knows the whole scheme, but he still doesn't see how it will end. He's still thinking of the Riddler like a criminal and not like himself. He knows the tool that was used to kill the mayor is the murder weapon, but he doesn't see the next clue. For him, the game is over. Up until this point, the Riddler wasn't shown much. He is in the background, he is felt, but his physical presence is lacking. When he is exposed as just some seemingly weak, quiet man, the film's fourth and final act begins. The Batman is face to face with his enemy. The Riddler reveals that he thought they were partners, that the Batman was helping him. Batman is angry and confused. The Riddler states,
"Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were."
and perhaps he wasn't, but not for lack of trying. The two men, despite their similarities of childhood trauma and a crusade against corruption, have different points of view. The Riddler seeks to cleanse the city in a purge. Batman is finding out his presence can make a difference beyond fear and vengeance. They are destined to collide. When the floods begin, all perspectives collide at higher ground in Gotham Square Garden. Rich, poor, all walks of life. The Riddler goons with their uniformity thought they were there to help the purge. Misguided by a symbol that they didn't understand, and with strength in numbers, it's up to Batman to stop them. His mission of vengeance inspired the wrong people, and only he could right this wrong. He comes face to face with himself when a goon states,
I'm vengeance.
his crusade birthed the Riddler and his incels. This is his legacy. In the true spirit of cleaning up his own mess, Batman descends off the scaffolding, ready to give his life for his people. He falls into the water and is baptized by his actions of heroism. When the man re-emerges, he is no longer vengeance. He is Batman. We'll get back to that in a moment, but I'd like to give some examples of the level of detail and artistry that went into this film. I want to show you my appreciation. Every beat had a purpose. Every moment pushed the next forward. All in support of a common theme. You don't believe me yet? Lightning round. The number one motif when thinking about perspective for me is eyes. The Batman is full of imagery that supports this. From masks accentuating the area around the eyes, to the dark domino makeup around Bruce's eyes when he removes his cowl. The use of contact lenses to record one's perspective and re-examine. Or when Batman sees through Selina's perspective while she wears the lenses. The big bug eyes of the owl or the scientist on the cards Batman receives from the Riddler. When the commissioner is killed, he is placed in a trap that accentuates his eyes and mouth, insinuating that the critters ate through his eyes. And I bet you missed the key drug of the film. Drops. A drug ingested by eye drops. All of this was no mistake. The motif of elevation is also heavily pronounced. Height seems to correlate with power in this world. The mayor's penthouse, Falcone's penthouse, the police precinct, even Wayne Tower. Yes, even Bruce lived above. The Riddler makes a comment about this.
Living in some tower over the park isn't being an orphan. Looking down on everyone with all that money. Don't you tell me.
There's a perception that above is evil. Traditionally, above would represent the superego, the protector and arbiter. Here, that superego is corroded. The ego being the surface level of Gotham, all mixes of people guided by the hand of corruption but disguised as a prosperous city. And underneath, the id, the criminal element of the Iceberg Lounge and its dungeon, the club within the club, the 44 below. Hell is often described as cold. Yes, Batman and Gordon meet up high, only to convene though. They must descend to make a difference. There's a unique stylistic attribute that Gotham has at its surface. To symbolize its level of depravity, its surface is below sea level, guarded by a flimsy seawall that just 7 explosive vans can topple in a matter of moments. Gotham's foundations are weak, but at its core, there is good. If all of this wasn't enough, the film has immense appreciation for Batman as an IP. Its homages and reference points cut deep into the canon. The entire story is, as I said, a retelling of the seminal comic The Long Halloween, a story that follows a young Batman as he uncovers a mystery that changes the landscape of Gotham forever, transitioning it from a city ruled by Falcone and the mob to one invested by masked freaks. It seems like that's where the trajectory of this story is headed as well. It even uses the phrase, "I believe in Gotham City," just like the novel did. Reeves is the first director to truly use Batman as a character rather than a device. His action scenes are judicious and reserved for mostly the end. Also, just side note, anyone notice that the hallway fight has become the signature set piece of this decade? The devil is in the details, and Reeves knew the assignment. Undertaking a property like Batman is intimidating to say the least. Even doing something as simple as redesigning the Batsuit can ignite the internet. Here, I believe Reeves also came out strong. For me, with its hint of black and gray to its practicality, I see Adam West influences. The shape of the cowl, the stitching around the forehead, the Batmobile's simplistic design, and even the telephone in Bruce's home all echo back to Adam West Batman. This all comes to mind as I read the Batman, as I analyze it. I am above all things a fan, and I appreciate details and enthusiasm when I see it. The Batman goes above and beyond in all of these categories, and deserves to be praised. From its tension-filled and haunting score that somehow feels fresh and timeless at the same time, to the gripping stylistic cinematography that captures the gothic aesthetic of Gotham not seen on film since Burton, to all the heavily nuanced themes and motifs I've been describing. The Batman is a modern masterwork for this genre. The Riddler's plan to purify Gotham and the very water that surrounded it failed. Batman emerges from the water a changed man, igniting a flare, bathed in the same harsh reds we saw him at the beginning. He extends his hands to his people, meeting them at their level for the first time. With a torch in hand, he guides them through the water in the most striking shot of the entire film. A biblical exodus. True change coming from guidance, not violence. The face of Gotham is unmasked in the light of the early morning as Batman and first responders all work together to shepherd the victims to safety. The face of Gotham is not corroded, as the Riddler believed. It's just angry and scarred, much like the Batman. But it can learn from the scars. If they all meet each other at the same level and come into the light, changing their perspectives, they can endure. And Batman can be more than vengeance. Batman looks up, this time not at his signal in the sky, but his reason to fight. An arm reaching out to him, granting him new purpose. Now when that light hits the sky, it's no longer just a warning. It's a beacon of hope. The film ends with Batman no longer the man he was, no longer like the Riddler, no longer a spirit of vengeance, now a protector. From his perspective, Looking back longingly in his rearview mirror, he sees a woman he cares about and has a connection with. But then ahead to Gotham. He believes in Gotham City now. His life's purpose. His true love. It took me longer than I thought. I guess I had a lot to say. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did making it. I hope you get something out of it. A new look at the film and a perspective on how to view films going forward. There'll be more to come, but we can't do it alone. I'm starting to see ACMP has had an effect here. Subscribing will show it's the one we had intended, but the algorithm never sleeps. Writer's block won't help the channel grow. We have to become more. People need to know there's a channel out there for them. There are likes to be gained from making content like this. Content that matters to us. If we all comment and share our thoughts, more content can come from your suggestions. They can give us the power to endure. They could give us the power to create.